Hello everyone and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe 2 in Love. Here with your AEW Dynamite review for February 22nd, 2023 edition of Dynamite, which it was filled with some good stuff, but some very confusing stuff. Felt off in some ways as we gear towards Revolution, and I think people will figure out which parts I mean, but going over. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. Of course, if you're new to the podcast and you want to see pro wrestling reviews on the channel, etc., click on subscribe, click on AEW in Love, find all pro wrestling reviews there, and yeah. But I'll get started. So first off, one of the big things going into this episode of Dynamite on Wednesday was the Tony Khan's major or important announcement, which, first of all, he didn't really make. That was the first. So first of all, Adam Cole announced that there'll be now an AEW reality show, pretty much. AEW All Access, which will be a 1-hour premiere after Dynamite. Showcase many of the stars of AEW, including Adam Cole, Britt Baker, Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston, etc. Major announcement. First of all, it is good. It is good news for the company in the fact that Warner Brothers loves AEW, and it's likely to stick around for a long time, a long while, and this can benefit many of the stars of AEW. Because, of course, if you're a fan of pro wrestling, the higher-ups, it was WWE for the large portion. And then there's Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA, now Impact, etc. And AEW filtered into that kind of period. Now we're in, obviously, a much different time period than was during the Attitude Era, when people were so invested in the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWE. But this could help as far as, the fans getting into the stars of AEW, because, as I just mentioned, but many of the stars of AEW came from either Ring of Honor, New Japan, that tier. I mean, yes, there's obviously Moxley and Jericho and 2.0 and etc. Hager, Timeout, that came from WWE, but and Claudio I mean, but you're getting that the majority of AEW is not worldly known, or many of the stars are not quite invested in as others. So, but this could help. But as far as a major announcement go, that basically hyped up for a number of days now, it didn't felt like a bummer. Obviously, felt like a letdown, and a major announcement should be a major announcement. This was, again, good in some aspects, but as far as a major announcement goes, But that's that. And people have seen more and more complaining about the lack of story in AEW, and I'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's get into the top of the review, shall we? And as far as in-ring action goes, it was pretty good. A good show, but felt a bit flat, I would say. So, but show started off between Orange Cassidy and Yuta for the All-Atlantic Championship. A good match. Orange Cassidy obviously gets too much flack because of who he is and his, gimmick. But these two brought it, and, it's good to see. So, especially towards the end. So, now, intriguing aspect of this match was Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio, as Yuta was getting frustrated and on the outside of the ring, Claudio came out and kind of motivated Yuta to get back to the ring, finish the job, and win the title. But and he made a damn good effort, but so Yuta was dropped on the apron. OCA diving DT on the floor, back in the ring. Cassidy went for a beach break, but Yuta countered with a pile driver for a near fall. Went for the seatbelt, did Yuta, but Cassidy countered. Went for the orange punch. Yuta kicked out. Beach break, Yuta kicked out. Finally, orange punch for the win. And there's that. OC gets the dub and a hell of a open to Dynamite. Ivono, he was backstage, asked about his main events with Jon Moxley. He was with Hangman, and he told Hangman he doesn't want him out in the main event no matter what. So he's going to show that Dark Order is not weak, and they're on the come up, and they are show everyone that Dark Order should be taken more seriously, pretty much. Ricky Starks. This was a good segment on the show. Good segment. So, Starks, he was out there said he was done with Chris Jericho. Not gonna get a rematch. So he basically said he had an open contract for anyone to come out there and have a match with him at Revolution. So, called anyone in the back. Chris Jericho's music hits. And he notices how Ricky is trying to go him into a rematch. And says he won't get it because he's not on his level and he knows he could beat him. But he says, good luck with your open challenge. Then Peter Avalon of the Wingmen comes out there, claims he's going to accept the open challenge. He's all fired up. Jericho hits the juice effect, knocks him out on the stage, and then he marches towards the ring. Claims, well, you know, anybody could go for the open challenge, and claims that Revolution, you can't have Revolution without Chris Jericho. So Ricky was like, well, you could sign it, and you know, you should probably do it without any help from the JS. And he said, well, I think you could beat me one-on-one. So Jericho was like, okay, I'll even put a stipulation in the contract saying that JS and anyone's banned from ringside. So but he doesn't have a pen. So Ricky Starks was like, oh well, I do. So he brings on a pen, and then like how when Jericho was in WWE and he had the list of Jericho, and when he was prepared to put someone on the list, you would do that signature clicking of the pen to signify that someone made the list and made that click. Was hilarious. So I made the clause in the contract, handed it to Starks, and claimed that no one outsmarts Chris Jericho. And then when Jericho turns back, Ricky had a big smirk on his face. And we're going to get the rematch at Revolution. Starks and Jericho. Should be a good match. You know, first match fun. Now, as I said in the first, before the opener, you know, like a sword going in, you know, Ricky Starks was hot on momentum coming out of his match with MJF at Winter's Coming. And I love that Ricky Starks was put into a feud with Chris Jericho, because you know what Chris Jericho is going to try to do is put it into a great phase. And you know, Ricky had momentum and beat Jericho, okay. And then he was put through a table afterwards by Hager. Well, Jericho lost to Andretti, lost to Starks, you thought Jericho was going to go on a downward spiral per se, but kind of feels kind of the same and not really more of a reason why there's a rematch. I mean, I get it. You have to keep Ricky Starks afloat somehow with his momentum if you want to potentially get a rematch with Starks and MJF, because Starks is great. And this is a confusing one to many, and I can see why. But hopefully after pay-per-view, this feud is over and both can move on to something else. So, question is obviously what, because MJF's not going to drop the title for another year per se. So, we'll see. We'll see. Get a little of a drink, but okay, I'm back here. We had a little tidbit backstage video featuring all the tag teams of AEW, talking about the Battle Royals coming up to get shots at the tag team titles in the four-way match at Revolution. And yeah, pretty simple. Big Bill and Lee Moriarty versus the Acclaimed. Now, this match was fine, but okay, I get why this match is happening, because the Guns are affiliated with the firm, and Big Bill and Lee Moriarty are in the firm. Morrissey, the way he's turned himself around since being with WWE, when he was in that dark place, the way he looks, how ripped he is, how much work he's put into now his craft in wrestling, loved what he did in Impact, and now him and AEW is a get. But what they've done with him so far has been not great, not good. He doesn't need to be with Moriarty. No offense to him, or the Guns, or Ethan Page. What Stokely Hathaway has kind of been put through has been very disappointing. We thought coming out of that Casino ladder match at Double or Nothing, or All Out, that these guys are going to be built up seriously, but they've honestly thrown these guys to the wayside, and but this match was fun. Bowens at the arrival. Mic drop by Caster 1, 2, 3, and Acclaimed get the victory over Big Bill and Moriarty. This was fun. Next segment. Christian Cage was said to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Then he was speared on stage by Jungle Boy, who laid an attack on Christian Cage. And Jack Perry then went for 2 chairs. Went to give Christian a concerto, but Christian hit a low blow on Jungle Boy. Smashed his face into a chair multiple times, busting him open, and multiple referees had to separate them, keep them off Jack Perry, and Christian laid off. I mean, Christian as a heel and back in AEW is just great. Just great. And will only help Jack Perry from here. Another little Wardlow Samoa Joe segment. It's fine, but moral of this episode, story, and basically telling this story too late towards the pay-per-view, and it sucks. Again, I like both guys, Samoa Joe is on a roll. They haven't done crap really with Wardlow since winning the title last year. So it's like, I don't know. So then we got Saraya for Skye Blue. Skye Blue didn't even get an entrance. I mean, supposedly it was in her hometown, and silly. This match was not great. I mean, bunch of distraction by Tony Storm. Saraya had a thrust kick, walked in, a submission which she used a couple times in WWE and NXT, and Skye Blue gave up. And Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter came out for a save. Saraya spray painted a DMD sign. I mean, I still am not a fan of this heel turn. I think a lot of people would feel the same. Why are they heels? Why are they spray painting? This. Jamie Hayter is Great, we know why she's babyface because people love her, and that makes sense. Britt Baker, supposed to be heel, now with this storyline, she's not a babyface. Afterwards, Ruby Soho gestured for the AEW Women's Championship. Made later in the show, a three-way match for the women, Jamie Hayter, Saraya, and Ruby Soho. Why? Really, why? Feels confusing. Again, maybe a good match, but annoys me a little bit. Best part of the show. So, Bryan Danielson was confronted by MJF. So, Bryan was in the ring. He brought up MJF's actions as of late, knocking out William Regal. Attacking Christopher Daniels last week. And he said, MJF hates me. So MJF went onto the stage and cut this emotional tirade on Bryan Danielson, and this is great. As if he couldn't get more invested into the Iron Man match at Revolution. This really amped it up that we needed face to face. So, MJF brought up his past, talking about how many have left him when he's opened up to them. Pretty much everyone, people in his family, friends, etc. And then he met a girl who made him think differently and thought that not everyone in the world is bad, to the point where he got down on one knee and said he wanted to have a family with her, etc. And then she left him. Hint, is that really the breakup between MJF and his fiance that he had proposed to a while ago? But yeah, this was emotional. So they brought up, the Triple B, the world title, is the only reason, quote, why he doesn't take a handful of pills and call it a day. He said, so then he brought up Bryan's concussion issues, saying how he basically takes his family for granted. Saying that he takes things that he would kill for granted whenever he gets in the ring, because he has so many concussion issues that basically wrestling means more to him than his family. And that is why MJF hates him. So then, this one, it kind of turned up a little notch. So MJF said he liked to look into the camera and talk to Bryan Danielson's kids for a bit. So then Bryan got obviously pissed and said, "Don't bring up my kids or I'm going to kick the shit out of you." So MJF said, "Hi, Birdie." Hi, Birdie. I believe that's his other kid's name, sorry, but he brought up how for 1 hour he's gonna beat up Dad and how he's gonna rip Dad's arm out of the socket and make sure Dad can't play with the kids anymore. And that he's gonna give Dad a present. And he asked the schmucks in the crowd what that present gonna be. And he almost said it, but Earl, he almost said CTE. And Bryan struck MJF and they brawled. Big brawl. Referees and officials had to separate them. That's fun. Really fun. And the 1 hour Iron Man match is going to shove some critics I know MJF has, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a real blast to see how this match turns about. Tag Team Battle Royal. This, besides women, I think many have a gripe with, because this just, like, why? This didn't feel right. So, I thought, okay, two of the teams, you're gonna at least, they could have at least given two teams that, up and coming. And that's what I thought. And I'm not gonna go through all the eliminations. But so basically, Best Friends were in there, Butcher and Blade were in there. Top Flight, you had Aussie Open making their AEW returns. You had all these teams. Then you have the final six, which are Jay Lethal, Butcher, Jeff Jarrett, Phoenix, and Trent. So basically you have four teams left in the match. So it's like, okay, well, I thought, well, if you have either, it was looking good. Best Friends, okay. Butcher and Blade, that would have been a real bonus for them, because we know how the crowd's been getting more and more over with them each time, and I think they would have been blessed to have in the match. But then Butcher got eliminated by Phoenix, and it was like, what? Lucha Brothers wouldn't be bad either. Coming out of that 7-match series with the Elite, but nope. Phoenix got eliminated, and then we got Trent versus Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett, the final three. So, I mean, it felt a bit like lose-lose kind of scenario. I mean, no offense to Trent, but, best friends, I like them. They are a very hot tag team at one point with a lot of momentum, but, have not done really much, since coming out. I mean, I think them and Orange Cassidy could very much add more to the trios division than the tag team division right now, but I mean, I don't know. And then, long story short, and I'll also say 2.0 was in that match. 2.0. Another team I've been preaching for to get more time. More time on TV, but nope. So, in the end, Trent eliminated Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett thanks to Satnam Singh. Jeff Jarrett wins the Battle Royal. Look, I love Jeff Jarrett when he was in TNA. I'm still a fan of his theme, but, when you look at the talent that was in that match, Aussie Open, 2.0, Lucha Brothers. I mean, Butcher and Blade. All of them, top flight. And Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are going in this match when we know the Guns have to retain. It's like, why? Seriously. Now, hopefully we get... And Aussie Open didn't even get an entrance. And it's a return. Same with the Lucha Brothers. I mean, you could at least have a few entrances. But last we're getting an Aussie Open Young Bucks match on Rampage. Which should be a very good match. But on Rampage, first of all, and... I don't know. So then we'll see. Who will be the fourth team? I think hopefully they'll do right by the fourth team, but we'll see. I mean, honestly, if it's not going to be a rematch between the Acclaimed and the Guns, the opponent should be... This should be giving a up-and-coming tag team some notoriety and a chance. But giving a team like Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, which I love Jay Lethal, and he deserves better, but this doesn't help. Anyways, yeah. We'll see. Next segment. We got a vignette. Backstage vignette from the House of Black. Very interesting. So, basically knowing that Buddy Matthews, but that the House of Black and the Elite will go face to face on Rampage. First of all, it's already a dud because A, it's on Rampage, not Dynamite. B, this match is being rushed. It seems to be on Revolution instead of having the story play through for a couple months, because we know the talent between these 6 guys: Buddy Matthews, Brody King, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Malachi Black. You have time to tell a story between these 6 guys, and yet rushing it seems to get on Revolution. And I want this. We know how good of a match it can be, but at the same time, we know all 60 guys can tell a story. And if this match is being put on the show, it's gonna stink, because it's just gonna be put on the show because just to put another match on the show. And it's not a great reason. Not great. But yeah. Adam Cole made basically Tony Khan's big announcement for him. So yeah, so now we're gonna get the main event. John Lethal, I was thinking Lethal from her earlier. Jon Moxley versus Evil Uno. This match is good. Look, Evil Uno is very good. I mean, Sue Grayson being back would help because, well, they were an underrated tag team, and we know AEW could always use fun tag teams in their tag team division. Anyways, good match. Uno was the one bleeding in this match, not Moxley. I don't know how, but bleeding inside his mask. So Uno's a big guy. He had a swanton on the outside. He had 2 pile drivers, which, I mean, yikes. For a near fall in the middle of the ring. In the end, Moxley walked on a bulldog choke. Uno tried to recover, got back to his feet, but Moxley clenched down, walked in a rear naked choke with the hooks in. Uno passed out, and Moxley gets W. Heyman was out there with the Dark Order against the Blackpool Comic Club. Brawl ensued, and Hangman busted open Moxley with barbed wire before their Texas Death match at Revolution, which I'm key for, because at least that story has been kind of brewing for a bit. But yeah, I'm key for that match, but That was how Dynamite went off the air. So, Moxley was busted open. As you expect. So, yeah. So, all in all, I would say a confusing episode in some aspects for Dynamite, but some good matches on the card, I'll say nonetheless. But yeah, Revolution, 1.5 weeks away. We're gonna get Adam Cole's return, I believe, next week or the week after. So that's to look forward to. But who he will face is the question. Well, we shall see. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more videos, again, subscribe. I said, if you like this video, click that like, leave a thumbs up, help out the video, help out the channel. But alas, hope you guys had a good week. Adios. I like this video. See you guys next week. Peace.